So now let's go and look at some more tributes that the Broncos have gotten recently. Here's the Monday night game with the 55 numerology where I predicted the Broncos would win. Notice that they won the game with a 37-yard field goal, bringing the score to 20-17, a sum of 37. The Broncos' first Super Bowl they ever appeared in was Super Bowl 12. They lost with a sum of 37 points. The game summed to 37. What's interesting about that is 37 is the 12th prime number. Anyhow, this game, finishing with the 37 tribute, it was also the last game of December for the NFL, the Monday night game on the date with 55 numerology. Notice in Gematria, December equals 37 the small way and 55 the big way. The game was played on a date with 55 numerology. Broncos in their 55th year got the win and also got the 37 tribute, which connects to the first ever Super Bowl they were in. I think all of these little tributes code all this significance from Super Bowl to month. This is how it's done. By the numbers, Masonic tributes. Osweiler on the game had 39 attempts. Manning currently 39 years old. Special number to the Masons. Howard Roselle, a man with 39 named Gematria, created Monday Night Football, created Sunday Night Football. Broncos rushing 113 yards as a team. No coincidence. After that game, after the Broncos won, they got this tribute from ESPN. A story with a ticker of 1:22. Remember, San Francisco the big way equals 122. I think they're trying to tell us San Francisco bound. They also get this shot of number 94 up here, the reflection of 49, 49ers hosting. I also want to point out that earlier this year I predicted the Broncos would upset the Patriots. Remember, they did. Osweiler had a drive starting at the 17-yard line, number 17 himself, an 83-yard drive, football equals 83, that led to the win. Tributes by the numbers. Osweiler, 57th pick from ASU on the 33rd parallel. ASU breaking down to 113. This past Sunday, the Broncos beat the Chargers to clinch the number 1 spot in the AFC. They won it 27-20, a sum of 47 points. Remember, first Super Bowl in the 47th season. It was the 64th all-time the Broncos defeated the Chargers. They came in with 63 wins. They left with 64 against the Chargers. Again, Denver Broncos equals 64. Lots of tributes in the numbers. These scores aren't arbitrary, but they are predetermined. And if you know the language of the numbers, you know what they foreshadow. So here's something I want to show you. This is something I researched before Peyton Manning came back in Week 17. I had a feeling he might come back this week or early in the playoffs. So in Week 10, Peyton Manning was benched with an injury, supposedly. Let me show you what's significant about Week 10 and also how many attempts he had on the year when he was benched. Week 10 in Gematria equals 83, just like football. No other week has this Gematria. Again, Peyton Manning's born on the 83rd day of the year. Elway was class of 83. With regards to the number 322, these are Manning's attempts on the year when he was benched. That is a highly Masonic number. You've probably heard of the Masonic Order Skull and Bones, the elite secret society out of Yale that presidents have been a part of. They identify by the number 322. In that recent Batman movie where the stadium blows up, they show the number 322 on the screen just before it explodes. This is a Masonic tribute 322, and what I'm telling you is Peyton Manning was not injured. He was just faking it. Just pretending. Like the WWF playing his role. And then look, he comes back in at the end of Week 17. They make a big deal about it being the first time that he's ever come into the game as a backup in his 18-year career, wearing the number 18. After the game, he didn't even have words to describe it. If anyone saw Peyton Manning speak after the game, his words were a mumbled mess. He didn't know what to say about coming off the bench. but it was so obvious that he was well rested and crisp, which is exactly what they've done for him with this fake injury. They've given him time to rest up, time to freshen up those 39-year-old legs so that he can come in and play decent enough to appear in the Super Bowl, possibly win it. That's the one piece I'm not certain about yet. Is he going to win it in his final season like Elway? It would make sense, but it's still to be determined. I also pointed out that from the beginning of the season until the date of his injury was a span of 59 days. And if you watched yesterday, he came back in and went 5 for 9. Not sure that was a coincidence or not. I documented this before he went 5 for 9. But tributes by the numbers, they happen all the time. Weeks before he supposedly got hurt, he tied Brett Favre's record. Brett Favre, known for QBing with the Packers. He tied his record playing the Packers on Sunday Night Football at 186 games. Look at the gematria of landmark. 186 in Jewish, 74 in simple English, the number important to the Freemasons. Also, before the game played yesterday, one of the commercials repeating during the football games was Peyton Manning's latest Nationwide commercial, where in the Nationwide theme song, he sings, "Epic comeback starts right here." This is a commercial that's played alongside the games. And here he is singing about an epic comeback, which in a way is how it would be portrayed if he were to win the Super Bowl with the Broncos finishing out this season. Yesterday, before Sunday Night Football, Bob Costas came on and, like a narrator for a movie, laid out what it would be if Peyton Manning went to the Super Bowl and won. It's amazing to me that people cannot see through the rigging. Notice that epic comeback, the phrase used, has gematria 50. We're talking about Super Bowl 50 this year. Epic is also a word with 33 gematria. Comeback, a word with 53 gematria, 53-man roster in the NFL. Epic comeback equals 86, like symbol, like triangle, like pyramid, and also, as it happens, like deflate gate. Deflate, a word with 53 gematria, just like gate. Very possible that the AFC Championship is the very predictable Broncos and Patriots. Manning versus Brady, 83 versus 83. The number of football. In case you missed it, there was this story earlier this year. 57 high school football players in Indiana named Peyton. Some of them look like little kids. Like, these guys? Are these guys really in high school? Truth Seeker, these are just contrived stories by the numbers. ESPN's all about the numbers. They know this language of gematria. Look at how long the video is, 1:31. Again, Super Bowl equals 131. 57 equals 131. Championship equals 131. Super Bowl one in history was played on a date with 83 numerology. Remember, football equals 83. Also a date with 39 numerology, the first Super Bowl. Manning currently 39 years, which he'll be through the rest of the season, turning 40 in the spring. With regards to 40, his return in Week 17 was on a date with 40 numerology, the first time he ever came in as a backup. And something about that 40, him about to turn 40, I don't think that was any coincidence either. Here's Osweiler, the 57th pick. Those Broncos Super Bowls, which we covered well. The only one we didn't talk about was the first one in the time before John Elway. They lost Super Bowl 12 to the Cowboys 27-10 for a sum of 37 points. Again, 37, the 12th prime. This is Super Bowl 12. Also on a date with 113 numerology. Also 32 and 41, numbers that connect to Denver and Broncos. That one went for the Cowboys, though. As for Gary Kubiak, head coach of the Broncos, A man with San Francisco connections. He's a former assistant coach in San Francisco. It would be a sweet return for him to play or be the coach of the Broncos in the Super Bowl there. Notice that Denver Broncos in Levi's Stadium, which is hosting Super Bowl 50, is also a nice match. Number's 154. Earlier this year, the Broncos acquired Vernon Davis, the tight end for the 49ers. Look at Vernon Davis's birthday, Truth Seeker. January 31st. 131 like Super Bowl. Again, Broncos won their last Super Bowl 33 on that date. So that pretty much covers it. I'll be really surprised if the Broncos aren't in the Super Bowl. I think this one's gift wrapped for Elway and company. If I had to pick an opponent, Truth Seeker, at this moment, what I've noticed throughout my years of watching sports is that sports are often themed with what's going on in the world in terms of current events. And right now, what our media is bombarding us with is racial division. So what would be a better opponent for a white Bronco than a Black Panther led by Cam Newton? If you're not aware, the Black Panther Party was established in the year 66, the year of the first Super Bowl, by Huey P. Newton. The founder of the Black Panthers was named Newton. The quarterback of the Black Panthers is Cam Newton. Also, if you write out the word 50, it has a gematria of 66. This is Super Bowl 50, some 66 tributes. The Black Panthers would fit right in. If there were any team that was going to upset the Broncos, if I'm mistaken about this team, it might be the Kansas City Chiefs this year. And the reason why is this, Truth Seeker. Kansas City won the 111th World Series. They are currently led by Alex Smith. Alex Smith in gematria equals 111. The last time the Chiefs won a Super Bowl was against the Vikings January 11th, 111, 1970. The Chiefs also participated in the first ever Super Bowl against the Packers. So Kansas City has won the 111th World Series. Their team has 111 connections. The Chiefs. Also, that Super Bowl that the Chiefs won was against the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings has a gematria of 111. Yesterday, the Vikings played the Packers for the 111th time in the existence of those two teams, and the Vikings won. And I predicted on this blog that the Vikings would win against the Packers yesterday at home. Packers had a weird season. They won all 3 of their divisional games on the road and lost all 3 of their divisional games at home, something they've never done before. They hadn't lost to the Lions in forever. They hadn't lost to the Bears in a long time. All 3 teams beat the Packers at home this year. Vikings and Chiefs have this weird 111 connection, it being the year of the 111th World Series. I do see some alignment there, but at the same time, it's not nearly as strong as what lines up for the Broncos. So I really see it for the Broncos. For an opponent, the Black Panthers make a lot of sense. Notice the Broncos in their Super Bowl history have never played the same team twice. So that pretty much covers it, Truth Seeker. Until next time.